Hello everyone, Mike Silverman here, back with another update for the turn-based role-playing game cooperative esport that I've been working on, tentatively titled Speed Dungeon. In this update, I'm going to show you how I've revamped the actions system to allow for many interesting interactions between different abilities that will cause interesting decision-making for the players. And right now we're looking at the live version of the game, which you can always check out at roguelikeracing.com. And this is to show you the old idle animations of the characters. And you can see no matter what different weapon they're wearing, they have the same idle animation. The attack animations are pretty rudimentary as well, and it doesn't really depend what kind of weapon they're wearing. It is kind of all the same thing. So to demonstrate, we actually do have the offhand animation. So we have the, well, you would have seen the offhand. It's okay. And two-handed weapon, you just kind of swing, looks the same. Even though they have a knife where you'd be slashing, this is like more of a blunt weapon, and it's two-handed. It should look different. And here we go with the same animation. So that was the old version. In the new version, we have different idling animations, and also we have different attacking animations depending if your weapon is going to be a stabbing type of weapon or a slashing type of weapon. So if we go into the game, we can demonstrate that if I switch over here, let's get a two-handed. Let's put on the two-handed battle axe. So there we can see that when you switch between weapons, your idling animation will change. And I think this person would also look different if they were wearing a shield. Yeah, so sword and shield looks different. Two-handed looks different. Bow looks different. And if we switch characters, we have the dual wield and we have the unarmed idling animation and possibly even something I've forgotten. Let's give this character a two-handed stabbing weapon because that has its own animation. And let's give this character, what are we missing? A one-handed stabbing weapon. So we need that short spear. And when we do our attacks, we'll see different animations. So let's do the one-handed stab. And that's pretty cool. This is the two-handed stab. And they counterattacked us. I forgot I put the counterattack on really high. So spoilers, there's counterattacks now, but we'll get into that later. And let's do a bow animation. The bow animation. Oh, let's save the bow animation for later. Let's do we have a dual wield? Oh, we don't on this character. All right, we'll do the two-handed swing animation because we haven't seen that. Oh yeah, big damage. But they blocked it, so they reduced the damage. There's also shield blocking now. We got to see the shield blocking animation. See the counter attack with the two-handed. So the counter attack also does the correct. There's so many counter attacks going on. We broke our short spear while counter attacking. So yeah, the durability is going to be a factor because if you counter attack something, you have to parry it as well. There is also parrying, which you have not seen yet. So what can we do? We can see the unarmed. So we got the, well, they countered us, or we would have done our offhand, but you can use your imagination. But the point is we have a lot of different animations. Now, the hardest animation was the bow animation because the bow itself actually has to animate and it has to synchronize with the character animation. And they're standing in the middle, so it's not the best view, but let's see. Yeah, so we attach the arrow, not super polished right now, but we have the system in place that, let's see, we got a bow here. Yeah, let's do another bow. So we take the arrow, put it in the string, attach it to the string, aim it to this front of the bow, and then we release it, and then we send the projectile at them, and when the projectile hits them, we actually show the damage. And we see the bow counterattack. That was actually pretty sick. All right, we got the unarmed counterattack, dealing blunt damage, of course, because your fists are blunt weapons. Now, what else did we work on? This update took me a long time. This update took me about 6 months, 5 months of work, because not just because of all these animations, and I had to learn about taking animations that are on one type of model and then targeting them onto a different type of model, because a lot of animations that you get, they're made for a certain structure of the character's skeleton, but then you want to put it on your own skeleton. So that's like it's a whole thing. And then we had to learn how to make skeletons for bows and animate those. And then the whole thing of pointing the arrow, it's in different ways, attaching it to the string, making sure it lines up with their, is this person wearing a bow? Yeah, making sure. So like they put their hand over here basically, then you spawn the arrow and it's attached to something on their hand. Then their hand comes around, it's going to touch the string. And at that point, you're like, okay, attach the arrow to the string. But also, you want to point the arrow at this part of the bow. So there's a hidden thing in there, which is called a bone. And then it's like pointing at that. And then they're pulling back the string. Not really, though. We're just playing an animation of the bow that makes its string look like it's getting pulled back, such that it's perfectly lined up with their hand. And then when goes it springs forward, we let it unattach from the string, and then we say, okay, you're going to start moving towards the destination, which is just the center location of whatever you're shooting at. So with that in mind, we can look at it with new eyes, attach the string, pull it back. Very nice. Okay, another thing that made this take super long time was the way that actions work now is so that they can happen simultaneously and that they can trigger each other happening. So what I mean by that is, let's say you put a bomb on a character and then you cast a fire on them. The fire should light the bomb on fire, and then that explosion should hit the things next to it. And if those have bombs on them, then those should blow up too. And a whole chain reaction of events could happen. And I thought that would be pretty cool. It's inspired mostly by Mass Effect 3, where you have some of your teammates, they could put a condition on someone, and then you activate that condition with your ability, and you're like, oh, use the tech burst on them, and then you blow it up, and you blow up everything. It's so satisfying. So in order for that to happen, I had to really just tear apart the whole combat system and put it back together with a lot more different upgrades, especially because of the multiplayer aspect where basically the server is calculating everything instantly, but then it's sending you this list of a replay. Basically, you're going to show what had actually happened with all the animations and stuff that the server doesn't care about the animations. They only care how long it's going to take you. So with that in mind, let's look at a simple one, which is the exploding arrow. So we're going to put the exploding arrow on this person, and you're going to see under their portrait, they have this bomb here. Well, we killed them, so that's not going to work. Let's put the exploding arrow on this person. They blocked, but blocking doesn't save you from getting the bomb. Now, okay, hopefully we don't counterattack them, because if we do, we'll set up the bomb too. Now, if we hit this person, they should explode with a rudimentary animation that actually hits the dead people too, because I didn't change that you can't target dead people with that. But it did an area of effect on them, and the area is actually based on distance. So if we melee attack them, let's see if we can set something up like that. Do we get a turn? Yeah, okay, so let's just melee attack this person with the one-handed slashing animation. And you can see it actually damaged them because they were in melee range. So you're going to want to think about that if you put an explosion condition on somebody. Before you attack them, you might want to be like, well, maybe I'll switch to the bow first so I don't damage myself. Or if you have like fire affinity gear and you're going to get healed from fire damage, then you would do it on purpose. And it could lead to many interesting situations. Now, another one we created is the ice bolt. So ice bolt puts a similar type of thing, but it's not exactly the same. We're going to put it on the middle person. And we can see that we have particle effects now as well. So they have this shatterable condition, and now if we shoot them, they're going to shatter and put the condition on the ones next to them, which is just how this works in Mass Effect as well. So we should see that shatter animation, and now they have only on the sides took damage and got their condition as well. And same would be if I tried to attack them with melee, it's going to hit them and them. So it went back to the middle person and to my person over here because I was in melee range. And then we counterattacked them while they were in melee, and then we got the condition, and then they hit us, and then you could see things are getting a little complicated. So that means if you have the bow and you counterattack with the bow, then it's probably better for similar reasons that when you attack someone in melee range, if they have the explosion, Hopefully you see what I'm talking about. Now, there is another ability that I added that can interact with these things, which is the chaining split arrow. But if I do it now, you're going to see it kind of goes really fast. I'm going to have to just slow down the arrow speed, but it's firing a split arrow and then it's bouncing around between a bunch of people. But I think we got to slow down the arrow speed to properly demonstrate that. So let's see. And we got to restart the app. Okay, so let's see a chaining split arrow in slow motion here. See the arrow is going to split into 3 arrows, and each of those arrows is going to bounce to a target and then jump to another target and go back and forth until it's bounced twice or there's no valid targets remaining. And since this can happen in, I would put it in air quotes, real time, kind of, you know, but in the terms of the game, it's these things can happen simultaneously and trigger things uh, while they're bouncing around. So if we do put an ice bolt on this, let's put it in this target because it actually is going to matter which one it goes on for what happens. Well, they parried it, so they don't get it because they fully negated that attack. So let's just do something normal for now. Nice slow motion arrow attack. Because I want to show the full interaction. And we get the slow motion arrow counterattack. And yeah, pretty cool. So let's get one more. We lose our durability, our bow broke because we countered with it. So let's put the ice bolt on this one actually. And now we don't want to kill anyone yet. That's fine. Okay, so now we can do our chaining split arrow. This person is the farthest away from this person, so their arrow that's going to them is going to be the last one to hit, which probably means by the time it does hit, this one or this one is probably going to be bouncing towards them, but it's randomly selected, so maybe it doesn't bounce to them, and you can get some sort of unpredictable results with this, but at some point, since there's multiple bounces, we should see an arrow, or well, this arrow will explode their shatterable condition. It will splash it onto them, and then one of the chaining arrows might hit that, and then that would splash to those two, and it will have some cool interactions. We broke our short bow. Well, they actually died. Let's see if we can get a good one, because it's cool when it really pops off. Let's do the chaining split arrow. You can do it with a broken bow. We get the wonderful error. Don't look at that. Don't look over there. Yeah, so we got multiple going back and forth splashings. This error is because it's trying to line up the arrow with a bow that doesn't exist because they're holding knives. But I never made it so you're not allowed to use the chaining split arrow without a bow, which would be easy enough to do. Now, let's refresh because I don't want the error. I'll show you one last ability, which is fire, and that's going to lead us into what I'm going to work on next. So we have fire. If you have level 1 fire, you can target any enemy, but we have level 2 fire, so we can choose to target multiple enemies. We'll see what that looks like. Particles, we got the like cool image going. And if we just target on one, it just looks just like the same. And we never had the spell effects before, so that's new as well. But what I would like is that it lights them on fire, and then they start to burn periodically, like a poison thing in Final Fantasy or another turn-based RPG. So what we need then is conditions that have sort of a turn in the turn order. And it looks like I broke this. Okay, no, it's just lagging. I thought we were going to get frozen there. So we got to revamp the turn order, and I have been working on it. I got ideas for that. That's going to be next. And once we have that, hopefully we can have the animations of the, like, this person took their turn, these slide over that way, and then we fill in new ones. And you could also have a lot more, so you can predict what turn is going to be next, and you try to slow someone down or kill someone whose turn is coming up sooner to add to the strategies. But you could also see, oh, the burning is going to happen then, so we want to make sure that this person who might have the remove burning ability removes the burning from our teammate before that happens. So that's what I want to work on next, and that's basically that. This took quite a while, but I think it is going to be worth it because now we can add in a lot of more interesting abilities that interact with each other. And when different gameplay elements interact with each other, it adds a lot to the fun, I think, and you can have interesting decisions. And that is basically what it's all about, what I'm trying to achieve here. So with that being said, this has been Mike Silverman, and I want to thank you for taking a look, and feel free to go to the live game at roguelikeracing.com and give it a try. I hope to see you online. Have a great day. Goodbye.